Good evening, and welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or one of the 50% of the viewing audience who have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a link to Super Chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And if you would most importantly like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently watching on mute, simply click on that link to join the show and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. However, you will be warmly welcome back on the next stream. With that, I'm going to transition across to my photo so I can share the show on Facebook, Skype and Twitter, and I would encourage anybody who is in the live audience presently to also share the show on social media. Once again, if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. May as well do my shout out straight away while I'm clicking and sharing. So, Helioskeptic, first one in. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Sleeping Warrior, good to see you. Thanks for being in our chat. Hopefully we'll see some action from you later, or maybe not, we shall see. Good to have you here either way. Lottie Says, thanks for being here. Please share the show. Al K. Hangout tab just in case someone does join. Pleased to have you here, Al. Nice to see you. Arwin, again, participant of this live stream. Very pleased to have you in our chat. Nice to see you. Scooby-Doo, proud sponsor. Thanks for being here. HootTube, nice to see you. Formerly YouTube. Good to be in our chat, I'm sure. But often a banned participant. Skyfly Bry, another person who infrequently joins this live stream. Nice to have you here, Bry. Good to see you in the chat. Joven Trendmaker says, "Sup fools." Good to see you, Joven. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing, as you always do. Lots of spam that I shall approve, unless it's particularly filthy. Not particularly terrible. Physics Warrior, nice to see you. Another participant of this stream. Good to have you in the live stream, in the live chat. Nice to see you. Fanny Lancer says, yay! Yay to you too, Fanny Lancer. Thanks for being here. Leonard, nice to have you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Stuart, also pleased to have you. And Andre, is that the last one? I think that is. Good to have you here, Andre. Run through my links again, just in case this show does go over the 2-hour mark. So, if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, which is about 50% of the people watching this, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And if you would like to join the debate, as Skyfly Bry has just done, simply click on the link in the info box below this video. But be sure to mute the page you are watching before you do. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And number two, if you are, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Once again, if you've not done so already, please share the show on social media and subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon so you can keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. And with that, I'm going to say a hello to Skyfly Bry. How you doing, Bry?
Hi, Nathan.
Hello.
How you keeping?
Very well indeed.
Grandma okay?
She's dead.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. You weren't to know.
I didn't know. Sorry.
No. I did do a little RIP at the end of one of the videos, but that was about all I did.
Yeah, I came on. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow. He was born in 1923, so he's 94 tomorrow.
Wow, that's really cracking on, isn't it?
Unfortunately, he's been in the hospital for the last 14 days, so he's not very well. But we wish him well, and I just want everyone to wish him well, please.
Well, I will send some well wishes to Skyfly Bry's dad.
Yeah, his name was Ted.
Ted. We wish you well,
That's
Ted.
what I've done recently. I've been in the hospital most of the time. But he's made it. He's made it to 94, so that's brilliant. Well, he's got an hour to go, so I'm sure he will. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. Good night.
Thanks for checking that the live stream works. Really appreciate that people like Bri do that, because it saves me a huge amount of stress. Obviously, not knowing that somebody can actually join is a bit worrying, so I'd normally by this point have said to somebody, can you check the live stream works? But hopefully Bri will hang around and contest any views that come along as and when we have our second debater in the stream. I'll say a few more hellos if there is anybody new in there. Agent Detective, very good to see you. Videographer, I believe you make some stuff. Anybody else I've missed? Elmo, nice to have you here. Very pleased to see you. And Frankie B. Flat, nice to have you here too. Please share the stream on social media. Sean Pierce, nice to have you too, Sean. Thanks for being in our live stream. I think that's probably about it. So I'll transition back to my photos. You may see me again if Bri chooses not to use this opportunity to spout his position and rhetoric. You may hear from me again to pretty much go through exactly the same information again, or if not, to introduce our next guest.
Nathan, this reminds me of Live Aid when Bob Geldof said, "Send us your money, send us your money." Do you remember that? During Live Aid,
possibly a bit before my time. I do remember.
No, it's not. You was born 1980, wasn't you?
Yeah.
It was 83, so I was only 3. Yeah, you might not remember.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit before my time. 3.
You was 3 years old. You should remember.
Maybe.
So what car you got now, Ethan? You had an Audi in the past, didn't you?
I've had an Audi as a company car, but I don't have a car.
No, your wife's got a car, hasn't she? It's like an old Fiat Panda or something. I can't remember what it was now.
There's TT. It's rapid. It's 300 horsepower.
Oh,
it's ludicrously fast.
Super.
Yeah, it's really good. Although that said, it's got a check engine light at the moment.
That hire hire car, the Audi A3 convertible, didn't you?
Yeah, we get it serviced at Audi. It's without going into too much detail, it's a sentimental car for a number of reasons, and for that reason we treat it like gold, and every single little fault that it has gets corrected immediately, and along with that we take it to the Audi garage, which most people think we're insane, but we like getting nice posh cars, and when we get a particularly nice one, I like making videos. So obviously I made a video with the convertible one that they gave us, and they also gave us I think they gave us a convertible TT once as well, along with various other rather posh cars. But they just, because we're a good customer, they tend to give us good cars. I got all my company car serviced at the same garage, so over the years they've given me some pretty posh cars.
Yeah, I got an Audi A5 the other day for a couple of days while I was in for a service. Top of the range S-Line, folding back mirrors and all the heated seats and stuff, cruise control, rear dimming rear view mirror and all that stuff, automatic lights, automatic wipers. It was great.
Lovely.
But when I got the car, there was no fuel in it. I had to drive to the first garage and put some fuel in it. I was well pissed off.
The last car I had was an S5.
Sorry, I didn't
and
that.
When I caned it got 6 to the gallon. 6 miles to the gallon. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. I got some footage of the moon the other day. It's quite good. A video.
Cool. Can you show us?
Wow. No, I haven't got it available. Sorry. Can I do it?
You tease.
No, sorry. Well, let me think. No, because I can mute it. Yeah, I can mute it. Okay, I'll show you the photos of the moon 2 nights ago.
Awesome.
Give me a few seconds to find it because I've just moved everything on my computer because it got slow. So I moved all my files off the desktop because I've got an iMac, and I found out it was loading everything before it needed to load. So I moved everything into different places. Deleted all those apps that I've downloaded over the past that took up space that I never use. So one sec.
There's no rush. No pressure. We've been joined by Arwin. Very pleased to have you here, Arwin.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Hi. I'm just gonna sit in the background and see what happens.
Fair enough, Arwin. You're getting
So
lots of
keep it
praise in the
talking.
comments, you know. Lots of people like you.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't let it go to your head.
Trying not to.
No, I'm being serious. People like you, mate.
I do my best. I guess as you go along, you learn. I do my best. So
I'm just looking forward to these moon pictures.
I've got the video queued up now. It's about 5 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah,
There's a
bring
bit of
it up.
shaky bit in the middle, which I would have cut out when I edited it and uploaded it.
You familiar with screen sharing and whatnot?
I am, yes.
Excellent.
I'm not sure if I do full screen.
Yes, please. Once you get it up.
There's the video. I've
Not
already
yet.
muted it.
You haven't shared it yet. So if you're on a PC, wave your mouse over the Hangout page, and then the second icon down on the left-hand side says screen share. It's a little green. I think it's
green arrow. Yeah, to the right.
Then just pick.
Start screen share. It's just a 5-minute video of the moon from a couple of days ago. We're using my 18-inch telescope. Start screen share. I've done that, and I need to press play.
Yeah, and then just make it full screen, which it pretty much is. That's perfect. Beautiful.
I'll just move that away. Do I move that away? Oh, don't worry about that. It's come.
Yeah, there you go. It's moved once your mouse went.
The annoying thing about my new telescope is I can't get the whole full moon in it. The 4-inch telescope I had before, I could get a nice full frame of the moon with a little border around it. But the 8-inch, it just doesn't, just the camera goes on the back of it. So as you see it, that's how you see it from the Earth. It's not reversed. Obviously, I've adjusted the telescope there.
I'd never thought about that. I think the telescope it's not even here. It's at my mother-in-law's, but I think it's 7.5 inch, and I'd never thought about that. But yeah, you're right. You don't get the full moon in it, do you? You can only see.
No,
closer.
This was about three days after the full moon, I think. I'll look at the file date in a minute. I can't remember it. About 3 days after. It was a bit cloudy as well, so I was quite pleased I got this.
You know, one of the reasons I got rid of the telescope, I was telling Paula this the other day, because the telescope used to literally sit where I'm sat now, pointing out the window. And at the time, I was really into Chris D's channel, which is called Take Back Space. And his setup at the time when I had the telescope was a 1080p sensor. Nice setup, but it wasn't as good as what I got through the telescope. Simple as that. It was about 80%, and I used to really commend him for that. I'd say in the stream, this is phenomenal. To get 80% as good as I get through the scope on my screen is phenomenal. And then he upgraded everything to 4K, and in a way, I was a little bit heartbroken because suddenly it made the telescopes almost completely superfluous. It doesn't have the same magic, no. It doesn't have the same mystique, no. But in terms of actual resolution, he was getting better than I could get through my telescope with his equipment. And not only that, he could line up something in his telescope within seconds, less than seconds. He has the muscle memory like a gamer to just move the scope into position in a fraction of a second. So you could say, "I'll point it at Orion," and it'd just be zoom, there, and you'd be like, "That would be, I don't know, 40 minutes of faffing around for me, you know, just to get it in my sights and then watch it drift away within seconds." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never set my telescope up properly. Normally, you have to do like a 2-star align or a lunar align, and I changed the date because I haven't ever since I brought it. The date doesn't change, which is really strange. You think have an internal battery keeps the date, but it doesn't. It's whether the last date you used it. So mine was about 2 years out of date. So I changed the date, and there was no lunar things, planets or moons, whatever you want to call them, in sight. So I couldn't align it. So I had to change the date to a different date. Which,
you don't need to for the moon.
Correct.
You don't need to align anything for the moon. Just point it at it. It's really easy.
Yeah, no. You have to choose it from the database based on the date and your latitude, longitude, and so on. So I couldn't find the moon because obviously at the time I had set on the telescope, the moon wasn't visible at that time, so I couldn't physically point it to the moon from my point of view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Anyway, so I changed the date to a false date, but I had the lunar the tracking system set to Venus. So this is the telescope. Although it's on a tripod, it's actually tracking to the speed that Venus would be moving at, based on the software installed on the telescope.
Got a bit obsessed with Venus for a while. I've lost so many hours staring at it, mostly without the telescope, mostly with the naked eye.
Yeah, early in the morning. Yeah.
Well, strangely, not just early.
Or late at night. Or late at night.
Well, I was going to say in the morning, as opposed to what everyone says, which is early in the morning. But it stays for a very long period after it says it should stay up.
Yeah, obviously this is an unedited video. I'll upload this to YouTube, but I don't have to upload it now because you've provided it. Thank you. Saves me 2 hours uploading. Oh, it takes me about 2 hours to upload a 10-minute video.
Oh man, fiber optic is like heaven. Today I mirrored 10 videos. Took me an hour. So all of them I downloaded and uploaded or re-uploaded on the secondary channel in 1080 high def. Took me an hour to download and upload all of them.
There's a guy on YouTube called Bill Bryson, and he does some great stuff on the moon footage. But he hasn't done nothing for 2 years, strangely. I don't know why. He was quite old, so he might have not be here no more. But if you look him up on YouTube, he's got some great videos.
Been joined by Curved Water. Very pleased to have you here, Curved.
Hello, thanks. How's everybody doing?
Very well.
Good.
Sorry about all the movement. This wouldn't be in the normal video. I think that's ended now, actually. Yeah, that's it. That's the end, mate.
Excellent. Loved it.
Anyway, I've done my duty. I just say hello to Curved and Alwyn. Is it
Arwin?
Alwyn. Yeah.
Arwin.
Yeah, sorry, that's me.
I've seen you do your own hangouts. Actually, you're from where are you from?
The Netherlands.
Oh, the Netherlands. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did them on a weekly basis on Tuesday, but I kind of stopped doing that because I want to keep recycling stuff till I get to something something new. So I just
Well, let's hope we get something new because it's been like 2 years, hasn't it? And nothing's really happened.
What do you mean?
Well, when the Flat Earth first started, a big thing back in 2015, and it's just gone round and round and round. And there's nothing new really, to be honest. Obviously, people that just come in won't know that, but the people that have been about, and I know who they are, or some of them, nothing's changed.
Well, depends on where you look at what you look. So things definitely have changed.
Oh, there's some new things. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and how people respond to it in general, and how many times it gets mentioned now. So
I saw Brenda on Nathan's channel earlier today, before I went to the hospital, and she kept saying, "I don't understand the question." I remember going back to Dow's from 2 years ago when she was on his station, and she said exactly the same thing. It's like nothing's changed. If you go back and watch them old videos from 2 years ago, it's so funny how it's very similar.
well, some people have areas where they don't change. That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, humans are animals of habit. It's ingrained in their spirit. So, and that includes mistakes and things you can't figure out. Can just never come to you, and you keep on asking the same question. You keep on not getting it. It happens to some
I've been
people.
using a program called Stellarium, which is apparently the solar system and all the planets, the stars and that. And I've been, because you can pause it and you can go to anywhere in the world. That's based on the Bohr world. That's how it works on that program. And I've been measuring the moon, and then I've been going to AutoCAD and drawing them out, and none of them work. I can't get anything to work.
Nothing of what works.
Well, if I take the moon, for instance, on the when was it? The 8th of December? No, yesterday. Yeah, 8th of December.
Mm-hmm.
On the equator. Actually, it was 20. I can't remember where my paperwork's gone. It was. Is that the right one? No, that's the wrong paperwork.
I'm not too much about specifics. When
Yeah. Anyway, basically, the moon travels just above the equator, about 20. Is it 24? I can't remember. Or 2.4. I need to look at it. I can't remember.
Brian,
Anyway, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Nothing works.
Brian, are you
What?
saying the moon is consistently the same distance above the equator?
No, it moves. It changes.
Okay, how much roughly?
It changes by probably 20 degrees north to south.
Right, from
Yeah.
about 20 degrees north to 20 degrees south
Yeah, so
Good.
40 degrees.
through the month.
Yeah, oh yeah, through the one day it changes about 8 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, it's through the month. I don't know about 8 degrees a day. That sounds
No,
a
from
bit high.
when it rises to setting, it moves 8 degrees off of that line if it was on a perfect circle. That's what I've been looking at, and I can't. I've looked at it in all different directions, and I've imagined myself on the moon, and I've imagined myself on the Earth, and I've looked at it, and I've measured it, and I've drawn it in CAD, and I can't make it work. Like Wolfie done that test, didn't he? Getting people to film the moon setting, or yeah, it's a moon setting, wasn't it?
I heard something about it. I'm not familiar with it.
Actually, he might have done the sun. He done the sun. That's it. Same thing. Exactly. It works exactly the same. He done the
Okay.
sun.
if I can climb some, you say you can't get it to work. What exactly? What doesn't line up? Where?
Well, okay. For
It
instance,
disconnect.
okay, right. Say you live in okay. I live in England, and say the summer solstice, the 22nd of September. Sorry, the equinox rather. In September 22nd, the sun rises in the east. Now, if you go down to Kenya, it still rises in the east.
Yes.
So if you draw two straight lines from a bore, you've got two different positions. And if you take more measurements, you've got more different positions.
Hey, Brian.
Yes. Indeed.
Brian.
We've been
Yeah.
joined by Agricultural Power. Have I got that right? Hopefully so.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Pleased to have you here.
How are you?
Very good. Thanks for being here.
No problem.
Cultural power.
Yeah. At any given time, Brian, observers' lines of sight to the sun are, just call it parallel. It's so close to parallel, just call it parallel.
Yeah, but I cannot accept someone else telling me another word to accept a fact that I can't see the truth. You know, I can't accept a word to explain it.
Okay, well, I mean, you can look at it like this. This is what we observe. You know, people along the same line of longitude basically see the sun rise at equinox, the same angle, azimuth, you know, to the east. Now, if you look at a globe and you draw lines of sight that are perpendicular from that line of longitude, they're all pointing to a distant sun. All of them. They don't cross the equator or do any of the silly things that people do with Google or trying to deceive people with this. The lines of sight from the lines of longitude at equinox are parallel to the sun.
Yeah, Saudi done
parallel with each other as they go towards the sun.
Sorry, Saudi done that video where it explained that, but it didn't show you the ends of the lines of all those lines after he converted it to a bore, going off at 10 degrees, 30 degrees, 45. He never showed you the end of the lines. And the reason he didn't do that because they never met.
That's not really
left it in your imagination to assume that they did meet, but they didn't meet. And I know they didn't meet because I've done the test myself.
Well, look at it this way. You're looking at a sun that is, you know, almost 900,000 miles in diameter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, well,
Now,
we're told that, but we don't know. Okay.
Now, if you are precise enough to draw your line of sight to the center of the sun, then that is where the lines of sight are going to be. And when the lines are separated by, you know, 10, 20, 100, 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles across the surface of the earth, but, you know, if you contrast that separation to the distance to the sun, the angle is ridiculously small. You see what I'm saying?
I know it's exactly what you're saying, but I've done all this in CAD, and CAD can't be wrong.
Well, no. Well, CAD can't be wrong, but the user can be.
To make a mistake, make a mistake.
There's probably an error somewhere. Without knowing exactly what you're doing, I can't tell you what the error is or what's going on with the moon when you try to input your values into CAD and see what's going on. But chances are, you probably just inputting something wrong or looking at something wrong.
That's what I do at night. That's what I do. I take my telescope out and I use the same settings, and I take pictures of buildings and like things that we know the scale of at a certain set distance, and then I will superimpose the pictures over top of pictures of the moon I've taken, and I can check the distance on Stellarium, and I can compare the scale, and I can tell you now they do not correspond. If the moon was really that distance away, we wouldn't see that that crater at the bottom, would we? Taco, 53 miles across, with the naked eye. If it's 225,000 miles away, it's just ridiculous.
Do you see it naked eye? I've tried.
I've seen it all the time. You can see it easy, yeah.
I've tried. I don't see it. I see it in an area, but to see and resolve a little crater.
And I've gone actually further than that. I've got friends who
naked eye
with pictures of that crater that is apparently 27 miles deep and 50-something miles across. I might get the depth. I might have the depth wrong. That's top of my head. And then I looked at the shadows. When you've got a gibbous moon, which is half light on it, then that shadow in that crater should go half the distance of the depth of the hole. Unless it's a cylinder hole. There's definitely something mysterious about what we're told and what is reality.
I don't know.
I don't know the answers.
The depth
that's
of
what I'm searching for.
That
anyway,
sound right, Brian.
What are we talking about?
Half the depth of the hole. I'm not even sure.
Hole? What hole?
Crater.
Sorry, I lost track.
Taco. The crater called Taco is the big one, the prominent one at the bottom.
Oh, a moon crater.
Yeah, moon crater.
Or yeah, what
Apparently,
looks like
50, I think it's 53 miles across. They use kilometers in some books, so it's hard to remember. I think it's about 50, 53, something like that. Now,
Well,
in reality, if it was that big, then the shadow should be much longer based on the width of it. Right, you just draw a circle, okay? And then you put a shadow. You put a light from the left or the right, depends which one to do. It should cover half of it, shouldn't it?
depends on the angle. I'm not sure what you're dealing with here, Brian.
What I'm dealing with here,
Why not?
okay, is gibbous moon is the sunlight is coming in at not from our point of view, but from the moon's point of view, it's coming in at 90 degrees from the side on a gibbous moon. Gibbous moon is when it's half lit, yeah.
Mm,
So if there's a crater and the light's coming from there, now you can test it on any model at home using cups and other stuff and lights and different stuff you want to use. It will cover half of the crater if it's a perfect circle. Obviously, if it's a funny shaped circle, it might not be exactly half. That's how it works. It's exactly the same as the gibbous moon. It's half litten. It's lit. Litten. That's a new word, English word. Listen.
No, just lit.
I have no idea.
But you have no idea what I'm talking about
The
because
moon
you've
is
got.
holographic anyway, so
Anyway, it's
it's
just
just made to look like they're craters and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what.
It doesn't pan out.
And I'm trying to figure out the point of it as well.
The point of it is we don't understand it because what we're told is not true. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed now. Good night, all, and thanks for talking to me. Gives you something to think about, and I'll see you again soon.
Good.
All right, good luck.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you all.
Nice to see you.
Wow. Okay. Hello, agriculture. So,
Hello. How's it going?
good at the moment. Good.
Yeah, I was trying to find out what he was trying to explain, and I'm not sure exactly what he was going for.
Yeah, I have that. I get you. I get you.
He was
So-
trying to explain that the moon phase shadow side, as it were, doesn't really line up properly with the position of the heliocentric giant sun and the Earth and everything. That just how the shadow of this moon is cast over the craters isn't really. It's just cut off like it's a cardboard cutout.
Right.
It doesn't the blackness doesn't fall into the crater, as it were. It's just it looks like an illusion's being covered up, and that's exactly what it is.
You might have understood him even more poorly than I did.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe. But without some kind of a graphic from him on that, with him trying to describe it verbally, because he was using the term 90 degrees, and I don't know to which part of the moon, 90 degrees at the crater surface, so 90 degrees would be straight down into the crater.
Yeah, I kind of lost track there too. So
Yeah, sun doesn't hit the moon at 90 degrees. That's just not a
the
true
sun doesn't hit the
statement.
moon at all. The moon is self-illuminating.
Well,
No, it's
so
not.
Yes, it is.
Arwen, you saw the video that he was showing you where there was portions of craters that were beyond the Terminator, like portions of craters in the darkened area that were reflecting light. Did you not see that?
Yeah, but not at
Why
at
does
the
the
edge. Yes, it's true. I know.
Why does the Terminator skirt the craters like it does?
You
if
mean
it's
the cutoff
self-illuminating?
point, the dark side cutoff point? Is that
The light will go around the craters. When the Terminator's in the right position there, it's not a
Oh, really? I'd
continuous
like to see
line
that.
through the crater.
Could you show me that?
As the Terminator moves across the surface of the moon, you can see that. And it will light portions beyond it. You will see mountains on the moon that are in the darkness that receive sunlight and reflect before the surface below it does.
Sounds amazing. Could you show and not tell, maybe?
No, not
Okay.
that. No, this is simple, easy stuff. If you're interested
Oh,
in that,
okay.
you can
Well,
find
it
it.
sounds like you knew the footage. You're
It's not.
describing it.
It's not germane to the shape. I've seen this stuff over the years.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going looking
Yeah,
for it.
I've
It's
seen a
not
lot of
germane.
stuff too.
It's not germane to the shape
Other
of the
plain-made
Earth.
stuff
I'm
even,
not
so.
going to spend any time researching to satisfy your curiosity.
Okay.
I'm not
Why
making a point here about
Yeah, I know.
the shape
Like,
of
why
the Earth.
would you
So
answer like questions or something?
it's not about flat Earth, Arwen.
No.
It's not about flat Earth. I'm not that interested. I'm just telling you, the moon being self-illuminated is, I mean, my God,
Yeah,
that's
cold light.
ridiculous on the face of it.
Sunlight could not possibly reflect in a way that it would become cold.
Well, why doesn't the whole thing emit
Hold on.
light if it gives its own light?
Hold on.
The whole thing? What do
Yeah,
you
because
mean?
it's not always a full moon.
No,
Yeah,
but
why does
it
it
always
emit-
does.
Why does
Moonlight
it
is
emit in
cold,
phases?
and when it's full, it's just more cold.
No, it's not more cold.
Yeah, it is.
Light's
Yeah, it's
not
good.
cold.
Yeah, this light is.
Cold is a bad way to
Measurably. I
describe
did
it.
myself.
It may not be as strong as sunlight.
No,
It
it's
does-
colder. It's measurably
It's-
colder.
Listen, the sunlight that is reflected off of the moon has significantly, and I mean significantly, less infrared radiation
Okay, so it has a reverse temperature effect.
because
Is that what
it
you're saying?
is no, it does not. The moon does not reflect. A lot of the IR is absorbed by the surface
Okay, yeah,
of
yeah,
the
that makes
moon.
sense. So it should be less hot, but it's not less hot, it's colder.
I'm not getting into those semantics. Or when the IR is not reflected as much as the light is.
Yeah, sure. I know that's
The albedo of the moon,
Geocentric
it does
theory
not
is
reflect the IR.
Yeah.
The reflected
moonlight is
moonlight
actually
is
colder.
significantly lower in infrared radiation than direct sunlight. Yes, that is true. That is true. It is significantly less.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
but
because it's a
it's not
reflection.
so. That theoretically
not.
couldn't be so much less that it would.
But it is not
Decrease
cold light. You don't put
temperature.
your hand in the moonlight and go,
You're not even
frostbite.
acknowledging what I'm trying to say here. You know what I'm
Frostbite.
talking about.
You don't get frostbite from the moonlight.
That's not that cold. But it might be if you actually amplify it with
I
the
know,
looking glass.
You can't amplify cold with the
Yeah,
glass.
you can.
Now, Arwen, my God,
Looking glass. Try it yourself.
you
Stop
can't
being such an arrogant man.
you can't amplify cold with the
Hey, I don't know why,
magnifying
but
glass.
this light it actually makes it cold.
A magnifying
yourself.
glass focuses the infrared radiation of the sunlight
Blah,
to
blah,
a fixed point and concentrates it,
We've
and it
been
will
joined
put more
by.
heat onto a smaller point.
Sorry, Curved.
Well, Botham goes over this too. Oh, hey, what's up?
We've been joined by Arrow. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Very pleased to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Hey, Arif.
Hey,
God, I can't believe
Robot?
what I've got to buy at the store this week to go out and check the temperature of moonlight and with a magnifying glass and watch it
Yeah, do it.
watch it lower the temperature on a
But
thermometer.
you need a big one because the moonlight is just not that intense. So
Been
How
joined
big
by
is
no
Paul.
amount of magnification will.
Well, I'd
Make it
recommend
heat.
one that's at least like a foot wide or something.
We've also been
Yeah,
joined by
that's
Paul.
not
Very pleased.
happening, G.
Very pleased to have
Okay,
you here,
well,
Paul.
try as big as you can find.
Let's
I
get
used
through
like
this,
a
guys.
12
We
centimeter one.
just need 10 seconds for Paul to say hello. Hello, Paul. How you doing?
Hi. I have an interesting photo. I'm not sure how to screen share though. I've never done that before.
Are
But
you
I
on
have
a
a very interesting photo.
Are you on a
of
mobile or on a
picture that was
PC?
taken in moonlight.
Are you on a mobile or a PC?
I'm on a PC.
Then just wave your mouse over the Hangout page that you're looking at now, and then on the left-hand side there'll be a row of tabs that appear. Just click on one of those tabs.
Yep.
I'll be with you in just a second, Jermaine. If you click on one of those tabs that says Screen Share, it's the second one down, green arrow, and then just select select either the tab or window that you want to display, and then click Share.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out which one.
Well, while you're figuring out I'll say a quick hello to Jermaine. How you doing, Jermaine?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Perfect. Very pleased to have you here. We've got you up now, Paul. I'll present you to everyone.
Okay, thanks. I'll try and get to the tab that I'm looking at. Can you see this picture of this cow on my screen?
Yes, we can.
That picture was taken in nothing but moonlight. It was a long exposure taken in moonlight. And this shows that moonlight is exactly the same as sunlight. Moonlight is just sunlight reflected from the moon. It has all the colours. It has every characteristic of sunlight.
It has the same colors, indeed. But some of these colors are probably more intense in this picture than they are in actual sunlight.
Can I just ask Paul a quick question? Sorry, can I just ask Paul a quick question? So, how are you just drawing that conclusion from this photograph?
No, you can actually go to the website of the person that took this photograph, and he explains exactly how he's done it.
So, okay, I appreciate it may not be your photograph, but you're taking the information that the sunlight, in terms of how it produces a photograph, is the same as the sunlight. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's showing that the every wavelength, every characteristic of the light that's been reflected from the moon is the same as the light that comes from the sun. There is no difference between light that comes from the moon than light that comes from the sun.
But moonlight is colder in the light than it is.
Sorry, but I just want to get to the end of this point with Paul. So, is he just basing that on a picture taken with a camera?
This is not just based on a picture taken with a camera. This is one piece of evidence that shows that the sunlight and the moonlight are the same thing. But you can also use spectroscopy to analyse the moonlight, showing that it has the same characteristics as light that comes from the sun.
Arwen, what are you using as a base?
Measurement field. Yeah, I did it
I can stop sharing this now.
Just doing.
How do I stop screen sharing?
Temperature.
At the bottom of your.
And
sorry, Arwen, just bear with me a second. At the bottom of your page, you found it. I think it says it's in a little blue tab. It says stop sharing.
Yep.
Groovy. Thank you for that.
But moonlight is cold and putrefying, and it's colder in the light than it is in the shade. Sunlight is exactly the opposite. It's warm in the light, colder in the shade. It's preservative. It's disinfectant. If you try to burn a fire in sunlight, it'll burn less quickly than it will in moonlight, because moonlight will break down the logs and help the fire get going by moonlight. So there's something else that needs to be going on.
Yeah, our rave is exactly right.
This is science not right. The age of Aquarius.
Have you ever heard of radiative cooling?
I've never heard of that. No.
What?
Well, what that is saying, what radiative cooling is that something in the shade is actually getting warm, or is not losing as much heat than it is in the open. So this is why on a cloudy night, it's going to generally be warmer than if it's open air, because the cloud is going to help something retain its heat more. So when you're in the shade, this is why you will see frost around on the grass, but you won't see it under heavily leafed trees, because the heat is being retained because it's being covered. And this is why when you put on, for example, a blanket, for example, it doesn't make you warmer. It just allows you to retain your heat. So something that's in the shade is retaining the heat. Something that's in the moonlight is in the open, therefore is losing more heat. That's all that's all you're measuring.
Huh. Yep. I wish I could show you the video where somebody had a glass of water in moonlight and watched the temperature of the water lower than another glass of water that he had in the shade.
Who was that?
Sorry.
It was just a random YouTuber, but they measured it and they took measurements online. Yeah. It was fascinating.
Was this the random YouTuber named Jason, aka Awake Souls?
It probably was.
Could be.
The follower of the cult of Yashigui and
he's a bit nutty. We know.
Simulation guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He thinks that he's got pictures of birds behind the sun.
Very, very angry Christian.
And he debunked the Pythagorean theorem as well with some angle iron if you choose to believe him.
Well, you take the meat, spit out the bone.
I don't agree with him, but he is right on some things.
You spit out Awake Souls. It's that simple.
Sorry, just to bring us back on track, because, sorry, I've forgotten your name already. I'm really sorry. Jermaine. Jermaine just made an exceptionally good point, Ariv, and I don't think you acknowledged it in any way, shape, or form, and it entirely debunks what your illusions about what the moonlight's doing. So, did you understand what he explained?
Well, let me say this to try to clarify. Maybe he will understand better. Is that when something is covered in the shade, it's not losing as much heat. Radiative cooling is when is the process by which a body loses its heat. Your body, for example, when you put on a coat, it allows you to retain heat. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thereby heating your body up more than it was before you put the coat on. That's the same thing the shade is doing to the object you have in the shade versus it being in the open air. It's not the moonlight that's making it colder, it's the open air. It's losing its heat in the open air.
But wouldn't that apply in the daytime too, where you'd have stuff in the shade in the daytime getting warmer as well?
No, because the sun is radiating the heat at a much greater rate than it is when it's reflecting off of the moon. The moon is not a mirror, so it's not reflecting the heat in the same way as a mirror would.
It's not reflecting.
So you're still saying it's reflecting light. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's
lens. The big elephant in the room here is that light, by its very nature, is electromagnetic radiation and carries energy. If it's being absorbed by an object, how can that object possibly cool down if it's absorbing energy? Light carries energy. It cannot cool things.
Well, maybe light is just a little bit misunderstood. It's a very complex subject.
I don't think so. Light is well understood.
So.
And I think the source of the confusion is, as Jermaine has outlined, and I think there's two other problems with this in the experiments that I've seen. And the first is that people use these infrared thermometers and they don't really understand how they work. They have a laser beam for sighting, and people think that wherever that spot of that laser beam is, that's what they're measuring. And in actual fact, that laser beam is just so you can see where you're pointing it. And it's actually putting out a beam like a flashlight would of infrared that's being bounced back. And so because it's a beam like a flashlight, your angle and distance from the object that you're measuring will have a profound effect on how that thermometer measures stuff. It's okay if you're stood over your cooker and you point it straight down at a saucepan to see if your sugar's warm.
You are correct.
But that's not the same as, pointing at sort of an obtuse angle at the top of a fence post like Jaron did, although he ultimately got a nil result. And the other problem I would point out with this is that I think there's a serious problem with reporting bias, in that people who conduct this experiment and get a null result probably are less likely to upload a video than people who get the result that they were expecting. And
that
so
could go either way, though.
Sorry, Ari.
Well, that's right.
Sorry, just while there's a little gap, I'm sorry to talk over you, Ari. In case you hadn't guessed, we've been joined by Gem Panda. Pleased to have you here, Jeremy, first of all.
Thank you very much.
And we've also been joined by P Mars. Very pleased to have you here, P.
Thanks. I was actually going to say the same thing what Jem said. I read an article about this. I guess like a scientifically literate guy who blogs was given these flat Earth videos of people saying that the moonlight's colder. And when he analyzed the video, he was saying that they were doing the experiment wrong because of what Jeremy says. Like they were pointing the laser pointer at the object, but it was encompassing a large radius of the temperature, so they were getting like the ground with the object, so the ground was colder, and that's why it was making it seem like the moonlight was colder, basically.
Right. I've also seen people point the thermometer directly at the moon and try and take a temperature reading, and it's just not designed to do that.
But sunlight is yellow colored. Why isn't the moon yellow colored if it's reflecting sunlight? It should reflect sunlight of the same color. When you look at the sun's rays, they're yellow and golden. They are not white.
Sunlight is white.
Where is the yellow color?
Well, you do got to remember.
There is no yellow color. Sunlight is white.
You can see the rays when you look at the sky.
Is white.
This is what you see when you look at the sky with your eyes and don't resort to just theorizing and mathematical theories or whatever. When you look with your eyes, you see yellow sunlight.
Well, we know it's white light.
Don't. What color are the clouds? The clouds are white.
Come on. Looks yellow to me.
Looks yellow to me too.
You have to remember the moon absorbs some of that light.
I mean, I tend to go with the Zetetic process where you look with your eyes and try to go with the science that goes with observable stuff, not this, theories and stuff like that. If I don't see it with my own eyes, I have a hard time believing it. I see yellow sunlight. I don't see white sunlight.
If sunlight was yellow, then all the objects would be yellow that it hits.
And you see rainbows. Sorry, P-Mars, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was basically done. But yeah, like everything would have a yellow shade, and there wouldn't be anything would be able to be white.
And you see rainbows, and you can see light being split into the colors of the spectrum through, the edge of a mirror or a crystal glass or, something like this. And so we do observe white light, and we observe the white light split into its constituent parts. And so, we understand a fair bit about it, and it's easily observable.
But I mean, even like you say, if the light coming from the moon is reflected, why don't we see rainbows at night? It rains in the night all the time, and sometimes you'll get moonlight too, but you never get rainbows at night. I've never seen a rainbow at night. If this is the same nature of light or whatever, why don't we see rainbows at night?
It's just not bright.
Oh my lord!
You can create them on clear moon nights with mist. Just doing it yourself, just like in the sunlight. So
what's that song? Rainbows at night, afternoon delight.
You have to right angle because it's not as bright. So
I stand corrected.
Star rockets in flight.
It's just basics. You can do it in lamplight as well. So come on,
Nathan, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you go.
Nathan.
Ahead. Yeah. Oh.
I think you might be AFK.
No, I'm not. I just muted myself in the Hangout. Sorry. Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me share my screen real quick, just to try to give a picture of what I'm saying.
Can everyone get a screen share ready? Because I think Nathan might be slacking, and we need
you
to keep him at the right stone.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
If you look at the clouds here, you see that based on the. Have you ever heard the term is too cold to snow? Anybody ever heard that? Oh no, you haven't, huh?
Yeah, I think it's a misconception, but yeah,
I've heard it, but I don't know what I think of it.
Well, pretty much when you look at a cloudy night, when it's real cloudy in like the wintertime.
Yeah, it gets flash frosted.
Yes, and
no
generally
snow.
it's generally going to be warmer on a cloudy night than if it's not cloudy. It has nothing to do with the moonlight. It's because of the cover of
the clouds,
whatever being covered. The cover
the clouds?
of the clouds is making the surface warmer. So something in the shade, whether it's covered by a roof, a tree, a cloud, or what have you, is generally going to be warmer because it's going to lose less heat.
Warmer in the shade than in the moonlight, which is colder?
Then in the open. It has nothing to do with the moonlight. It's because it's in the open.
That's
So
true.
you're saying there might be another dynamic here with the clouds or something?
It is true, but the moonlight is still cold. And you can amplify moonlight with lenses and actually point it at water, even in an enclosed thing. And eventually, if the moonlight is strong enough, it might even freeze. So,
What nonsense.
I've never checked it out. I would love to try it one day.
Everything you just said is false, right? You know that, right?
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, those clouds in Jermaine's picture, they're they're absorbing, re-emitting the outgoing long-wave radiation heat from the Earth that goes up, and where there's clouds, they will shoot that back down to the Earth. It'll be radiated back to the Earth, making it warmer beneath the clouds.
We'd have to compare moonlight versus the shade and see what gets warmer or whatever.
All right, you go do that. Document that, okay?
We've been joined, sorry to interrupt you, Curved. We've been joined by True Seeker. Very pleased to have you here, True Seeker.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So we are approaching the hour mark on this live stream. If you've not done so already, be sure to share the show. In case you're wondering why I constantly badger people in the live chat to share the show, it's because the greater the audience we have, the greater the likelihood of having a more diverse panel. So if you're worried about me pestering you, tough. You're going to get pestered continually to share the show. So if you've not done so already, hit that share button and share the link on social media. If you are new to this channel, or you've not subscribed already, be sure to smash that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And most importantly, if you would like to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link below this video to join the panel. There are a couple of rules. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. If you are, please don't try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. So although it might bug some people, please share the show. And one more time, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
If the sun is circling above a flat Earth.
And we don't know the entirety of what we're working with here, so that's why we're not foolish
You
enough
don't
to
know
call it
any.
flat.
You don't know any of what you're working with. That's your problem.
Well,
you
currently
know
there
nothing of what you're working with.
Well,
Nothing.
depending on the flat Earth model that you use, you have the sun making widening and contracting circles over a geostationary, unmoving flat plane. When
Is
makes
it
a tight
circling?
Circle, yes.
Is it circling?
Yes.
Then how does that explain what I just told you?
The equinox, it's midway through its journey. In the mid-sized circle
Gene.
that it makes, it's widening and contracting circle.
Or you're dodging the question. Observer on the equinox, on the equator, at equinox, sun rises due east, passes straight overhead, sets due west. It traces a straight line from rise to set. How does it do that if it's circling above your little flat fantasy model? How does that happen?
Still do that. That's probably just perspective. Maybe it's making more of a curved path than it looks. But like with the globe model, it just looks straight when it's actually curved.
How about an answer? How about an answer?
It's a model, and it's a model that can explain the process. We just need to see if it's true or not with actual experiments.
Your model is destroyed by that observation that I just gave you.
No.
We don't have a model.
Yeah.
The model he put forth.
Why don't you have a model?
Because whenever they assign one to themselves,
we don't know the entirety of what we're dealing with.
It gets debunked, and they have to abandon it. So they always do
There's
this.
a model for the
We
Earth,
don't have a model.
and there's a model for the heavens.
Doesn't your equator need to
different
be a
things,
straight line?
and they don't relate.
No.
Why not?
It's based off of your limited perspective. It looks like it's straight, but it's not. It's
You
curved.
know that's garbage.
You just can't see it. According to the globe, that's what you're saying with the globe. You're
You
saying
know
that
that's
it's a
garbage.
curve when it's actually straight.
That's
I mean,
nonsense.
it can go either way. Except
This is how
with the
pathetic
sun
that is.
circling around, it could look straight when it's actually curved. Is there a way to measure this?
Yeah, look at it. Jeez, this is simple. This is so simple.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You want us to have a model, but we don't know the entirety of what we're dealing with. We need
You don't
to
know
have
any
the
of what you're
entirety of
dealing
what
with.
we're
Same
dealing
amount
with.
of time as everyone
That's
else
the
to
whole
explore it.
We're just coming out from under 500 years of sun worshipping deception. Okay,
The globe model
We're going to need some time.
Globe model is made from observations. You have the same observations available to you.
Observations that were good, but we came to incorrect conclusions.
And that's not
Create-
true. It's been flat earthers for forever. There's always been somebody that's saying the earth is flat.
Yeah, and
Plenty
they
of
never
people
really
in-
get scholarships or money
Plenty-
or funding from the government or
Well, no,
anything.
that's because it's a stupid idea, but that's a different issue. There's always been people saying it. In Victorian times, it was became quite a popular idea for a few years. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
just not true to say you've only just. Well, I mean, this is all evidence.
Sun worshipping deception.
You lie,
You can
Jeremy.
see
I'd like to
how-
hear Darwin's explanation
I mean,
for the
that's-
24-hour sun in Antarctica.
I mean, Robotham had such an effect that you guys are still quoting him 160 years later.
You lie. Math Powerland
So-
brought back
24-hour
the
sun
flat
in
Earth.
Antarctica?
It was Math
Well,
Powerland.
We've never seen a 24-hour unedited footage of that sunlight.
Can't hear you, Nathan.
I have.
don't know
I've
what you're
worked there
saying.
for 6 months.
So
I worked there
you
for
know
6
how
months.
it
I witnessed it myself.
Well, funny, you didn't take a camera of it because there's never footage of this event.
Saying people haven't
There is.
witnessed it is
This
just
footage,
denying
but
it.
it's got a little edit in it somewhere or something like that, and they reject it unreasonably on that basis. But there's plenty of footage.
Oh yeah, there is footage, but there isn't a continuous 24-hour loop that
Well,
isn't
what
unedited.
difference would that make?
Oh,
I mean,
let's just.
Okay, let's say
goalposts.
in the bit that's missing, in the 3 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever it is that's missing, what happened there? They reset.
I want to
the
know
sun-
why do they have to allow 3 minutes missing?
Well, how is it a reason? How is it a reason to reject the footage? You're rejecting the footage on that basis. Why?
Because a majority of the evidence for the globe has turned out to have been like at least composites.
Well, no, we're
or
talking about this
edit-
piece of footage. Let's not throw in anything else. Why are you?
everything else, because now we need to question.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Sorry, I've got to
We can-
interrupt
we
you
can deal
guys
with
before you
each
get into
other.
the back and forth of yes, it is, no, it isn't. So we've been joined by Make 4. Very pleased to have you here.
Oh dear, it's my introduction. Hello. How you going?
Pleased to
We
have you
can
here.
assess each piece of evidence on its own merits, and that includes this piece. So I want to know why, if it isn't continuous, if there's a few minutes missing, why is that a reason to reject the other 23 hours, 50 minutes of it? But
Because the claim is that there's 24 continuous sunlight, so we need to see 24 hours unedited continuous sunlight, and then you shut
why?
me up.
Why?
Because that's what the claim that they experience. So we need to see proof of it.
So
when
if
there's
you
no-
only see 23 hours, 50 minutes, is that evidence that 23 hours, 50 minutes of such continuous sunlight? Okay.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would
Certainly
take
narrow down the.
Right.
The proof
So
of
we've got 10
falsification.
minutes that's unaccounted for. So what do you propose might be happening in this 10 minutes?
I don't
if
know.
It
That's
isn't,
the
if it isn't
mystery.
them
That's
just
the
like
mystery.
changing the tape or whatever it is that resetting the camera or whatever it is that they have to do.
We
If
have
it isn't
digital
that-
photography.
If it isn't that,
there's nobody
what
changing tape. There's nobody.
what
changing
explanation?
tape.
What ex-
We have live
what
feeds that stay up for months. We
Okay,
don't
so
need anybody
what? But
changing
what?
tapes.
So you've seen the 23 hours and 50 minutes. what happens in the 10 minutes that makes you can't possibly accept this footage?
I
It has
can't
to have been faked.
I can't answer that unless they reveal the 10
No,
minutes.
you
they're
can't
missing.
answer that because it's unreasonable and silly. That's why you can't answer.
It's not
The point
unreasonable.
is that
I
the
just
flat
want to
earth
know what
model
happened.
can't even explain the 23 hours and 50 minutes.
Truth. I can link you to multiple websites that have real-time cameras in Antarctica.
All right, please do that to chat. I'm willing
You
to
won't get
research this.
Let's see him.
Continuous, no
Brilliant.
more.
Let's see him. Marvelous.
Yeah, please link them in the chat, and I'll give them a look. For
So
sure.
anyway, was checking out the stars last night in Australia a little bit more, and there was this like nice big chunk. I don't know what constellations they were. I'm sorry, I'm not that good, but there was this nice big chunk of like blue and red looking stars over to like you could call it southeast over there. So if they're in the southeast of me, Australia, which was like I'm pretty far south Australia, they should be moving over there, like over to the southwest sort of thing, right? Like curving around that pole. Hopefully, there's a pole there if we're sitting on a globe.
They should be moving
Trying to-
clockwise.
Clockwise, correctly. From like if I look south, to me they would look like they were moving clockwise over towards the west. They would be going clockwise over towards the west.
Well,
but
you said they're southeast, right? You're looking
Yeah.
southeast. So
Yeah.
they're like if you look at the sky as a clock there with the celestial pole as the center of the clock.
Yep.
As the
And
star,
12 o'clock would be my south. Like I'm looking at midnight, which is my south.
12 o'clock would be up above.
Yes. So
pole.
if I put
6 o'clock down towards the horizon.
no, we're confusing things here. Anyway,
9
I was just
o'clock
looking
to your
south.
left, 3 o'clock to your right, kind of like
Okay.
a clock is laid out.
Okay, yeah. But if you put the clock
If
flat,
the
I would be
constellation
looking at
is the clock is not flat. The clock is up there in the sky with your with the center. You know, the pole is the center of the clock. The stars are moving around the base of the clock clockwise.
Yeah.
If a star is up
well-
there oriented at like your 7, 8 o'clock position, it's going to move up around 9, 10, 11, 12 clockwise. It's not going to
Yeah.
move just straight left to right in your field of view.
Yeah.
To the west. It's going
Yeah.
up and over and, down and over and
Mm-hmm.
then down and back to the left. As it moves from 3 to 6 is down and back to the left.
Yeah, so these massive, awesome, like red and blue stars should have been making their way across like the south of the sky because they were pretty far south. Like one of these stars was on the horizon, and it didn't ever go below the horizon. All it did was move to the east, and it should have been going west. All of these whole chunk of stars, there was like 4 of them.
Do you not understand clockwise?
No. You see, what? Let me rephrase. I was looking at them. They were in the southeast. They should have moved over to the southwest because I was looking south. So they
God.
should be curving. I was looking south.
Can somebody talk to him?
They're not going to go.
Do you
What?
understand?
I guess he thinks.
Can I say something here?
Okay, go ahead.
Just
Do you understand that stars that are moving clockwise, if you're looking at the stars on the horizon, they are below the south celestial pole. Clockwise for below the south celestial pole means that they would be moving towards the east.
You're telling me I'm in Canberra and I can look
I don't think it does.
It does.
like much below the south celestial pole. I don't believe it at all. If
What?
What
you're
you believe and
over
don't
there-
believe is irrelevant.
actually, it is. I'm sorry, my friend.
Well, but this is where some of those alternative theories come in with the stars as possibly projections onto a curved glass surface, because there have been experiments where you project an image onto a
Yes,
glass surface
this is where
and it
that's-
duplicates or triplicates off of the
If-
curved glass surface. So it might be a projection of the stars that reflects in the southern hemisphere. I don't know.
That's
If you
beautiful.
let me finish
What
my
we're
story.
talking about is the
Might be
direction
this,
that
might be
the
that.
stars
I don't
we
know.
see
It
move.
sounds like pseudoscience.
Well, if
this
you
is
let me
a
finish
stepping
my
board,
story.
and it's a stepping board, and we make experiments based off of the stepping board.
All right, there is no guesswork here. We're talking about what you see when you look in the sky, which direction the stars move. This is not up for debate.
And it's totally different constellations. How can you use that example that I see some flat earthers use? It's totally different constellation.
I'm gonna do it again tonight, and I'm gonna map it out again tonight, and you'll see what I mean. Because like, if you let me sort of try and explain it without just going, "Oh my God, he doesn't know what clockwise is." Nah.
Well, because you're making false statements due to that lack of knowledge, I guess.
No, well, you think I'm looking past the South Celestial Pole is just not possible. Like,
what are you talking about? Looking past it? You're looking below it.
Looking below it at Canberra. I'm nowhere near Antarctica. For a start, like,
oh, dude. Okay,
there's a lot off it still. And
Marcus,
anyway, yeah,
Marcus, I got you. Okay, dude, you got to realize the southern celestial pole is in the sky. We're not talking about a point on the ground.
Oh, I do understand that, but
then why are you talking about Antarctica? Anyway. Why are you talking about Antarctica, dude?
Because that's where the pole would be, roughly, wouldn't it? Unless you're talking about magnetic poles, which is near Alaska. So
no. The pole is way out in the sky. It's an extension of the axis of the Earth. You know, the rotational axis. It's
got nothing to do with the Earth. It's the star that's fucking light years away.
Screw me. Oh my God. No, the celestial pole is the extension of the Earth's axis out into space. It's that point in the center of the rotation. You will see it. It's a point in the sky that the stars rotate around.
You trying to tell me
that's in line with the Earth's axis, rotational axis? It has everything to do with the Earth's rotational axis.
It's in line with the rotational axis. That's all it is.
It's in line with it. It's not down in Antarctica. It's up in the sky. As you watch, if you were to watch the sky and pay attention to it, you would find the central point that the stars up in the sky rotate around.
If I can see the central point south of Canberra, that means
what's your latitude? What's your latitude?
What is this?
What's your latitude?
Your observation.
I'm in Canberra, man.
Marcus, what are you, like 33, 35 degrees south?
It's like 31. It's 31 degrees something.
Then the southern celestial pole is going to be about 31 degrees north of the horizon, above the horizon.
North? You mean south?
Looking due south, it's going to be 31 degrees above your horizon.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
31.
That's where you're going to find that point in the sky. Where all the stars rotate around it clockwise. All right.
When I look south, it goes clockwise. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Can I share a video here?
Why were they going anti-clockwise? And some were going clockwise, and some were going anti-clockwise.
No,
like why
that's never.
I think we want to see evidence of this. Else, it's just
that's not happening, Marcus.
There's the section in. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
How long did you make your observation for, and how are you?
I just I'd come outside. I'd take note of colors and positions, and I lined a few up with trees that I had in the area, and then there was like 4 really big ones down in the south.
And my question is, how long did you make your observation for?
This was over about 5 hours.
Right. So you nipped outside every few minutes over a period of 5 hours.
Yeah.
And made a guess that you were looking at the same stars.
Total guess, man. Just a total guess that I was looking at the same stars. Like, yeah.
Probably not.
They move pretty fast in the sky, right? So it's pretty hard to like guess which ones are there. Like, whoa, they just disappear sometimes. Like,
I do believe
it. So I'm just trying to, I'm you guys, I'm not actually fully flat Earth here at the moment. So just keep that in mind because I do see the sun.
I've got a video here that I can share that explains this.
So pointless, it's annoying.
No, but like, see, I would expect that those stars that you're telling me which moved anti-clockwise and moved to the east instead of to the
your
west,
claim can just
you're trying to tell me that they're on the back of the celestial pole.
Can I share a video that illustrates this?
There's no point in even engaging
Can I share a
on your
video that
claim.
illustrates this?
Share it.
If you have to.
Go for it, man. Yeah, just like
Marcus, I never said anything about stars moving anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere when you're facing south.
See, I'm a big fan of like trying to let people get their story out and explain 100% so you can understand before you start cutting me off. Before you start cutting me off, and like just saying, you're an idiot. It's clockwise. Like
No,
maybe
Marcus,
just.
I think you need to produce evidence
Can
of
you
what
see
you
the-
said, because the description.
He's
In a minute, Paul,
producing
we
the
will.
evidence.
We
If
will.
you guys
We will.
would let him talk,
The
he was
description that
producing
you
it.
See, look at you guys. Look at you guys. You're talking over yourselves. I can just sit here and laugh at you almost.
Can you
Marcus,
see my
because you're
screen?
misquoting me.
Probably.
Stop
Can you see
misquoting
my
me,
screen?
and you won't have a problem.
Yes,
Not
we can
yet.
see your screen.
Click on his avatar if you cannot see his screen.
Yeah. Clockwise. Nice. Is that the South Celestial? I like it.
In the center,
It is.
center.
It is the South Celestial Pole. Do you notice these
Is that what you're-
stars underneath the pole? They go from west to east.
Mhm.
Okay, if you were to see a star here and then hours later, it would appear over here. It has gone to the east. It takes 24 hours for the stars to go all the way around. A 5-hour period would see a star go from about here to here,
Okay.
west to east.
So
It's
does,
obvious here. The stars below the SCP go from west to east.
What country was this filmed in?
This is the South Celestial Pole. This is from Australia.
Okay. Does South America also see it?
Yes.
It does.
Okay.
Because it's in the southern hemisphere.
Okay. Interesting. So very
It's
interesting.
clearly going from west to east below the South Celestial Pole. You can see that the motion is clockwise.
Okay, so it's fair enough, but why does it move from like Australia? Shouldn't it? If we're the South Celestial Pole is sitting over Canberra, you're sitting over Australia. I can stare at it.
Right.
That means
See the horizon? South Celestial Pole is up here.
Yeah, Paul.
That is about 30 odd degrees above the horizon.
Paul, he didn't even get to the end of his
The
sentence
opposite
before he
end
cut
of
him off.
the North Celestial Pole would be the exact opposite of Australia, should it not? And they wouldn't really move.
That's right,
No.
but this is
Hold
not
on.
the North Celestial Pole.
He has a misconception. He's calling it above
That's another question.
Australia.
That's another question. I'm not.
It's
You don't have
not
to
above
go.
Australia.
Sorry for swearing, but you guys tick me off a
Not
little bit.
above Australia.
Well, he just said it was. Where is it then?
It's not above. It's above the South Pole. Above meaning directly above, in line with the axis of the Earth, not in line with some line that runs from the center of the Earth through Australia.
Okay. So just hold up now. You're telling me like the pole actually shifts around our world. So like
He's
when we're not.
trolling. He's trolling.
Well, I'm
No,
just
the pole
trying
does
to.
not shift.
How can it be like if hold up, like if our celestial pole right now is above Australia, that means we're over the axis on Australia, and it's not. It shouldn't be summer for me here right now. Like if I'm seeing that 30 degrees above my horizon, I'm not
It
in
is
summer.
always about 30 degrees above the horizon, regardless of where the sun is.
Sorry, can I just ask a favour of Paul? Sorry to interrupt you guys.
Just so
Sorry
you
to
know,
interrupt.
I'm
Bear with me
nowhere
a
near
second.
the
Sorry,
bottom of
sorry,
the earth.
guys. Can I just
Exactly.
interrupt?
Like,
Sorry.
Sorry.
Paul, you keep playing the same section over and over again. Could you just play maybe
No, I
25
can play it all if you like.
Paul, could you
I
just
can let
play?
it go. Yeah.
Could you just play maybe 20 seconds before and maybe 25 seconds after as well, and just let it run through? There you
Sure.
go. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
It's just got a whole stack of star trails taken. Okay.
We've also been joined by Lewis Hackett. Very pleased to have you, Lewis.
Yep, I just want to say there's an actual educational discussion that isn't going in circles on Rebels channel.
No.
Okay.
False advertisement? What the heck was that?
So, how is it possible that I'm in Australia? I should be looking off the side of it. I'm not really too far tucked underneath there. There's still a fair bit of distance down to Antarctica. And in the curve, it should be curving around. The South Celestial Pole is stars that are far away, which makes it easy to see. But how am I seeing that 30 degrees above my horizon in Australia? And you're telling me Chile and
Because
South
your
America
latitude is 33 degrees.
Okay, but so from directly perpendicular, like directly out towards my horizon from me, where would that be? Would that be below? You're telling me that's below the celestial pole?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm looking at stars on the other side of the world.
No.
Do you know what?
That's a weird way to phrase it.
Well, how can I? Like, you're telling me that thing's 30 degrees up. I can see a lot of stars on the other side of that celestial pole. Which I know it's a.
What do you mean the other side of the celestial pole?
All right, I'll give it. But they are directly above a person. If they were on the other side of the Earth, they would be beyond the Arctic.
If I can see the celestial pole at 30 degrees up from Australia, that means like the celestial pole is somewhere over Australia. Like,
no, it does not. No.
Well,
On a
it's
ball, it
damn
does.
close. And you're telling me like it moves around so South America can see it as well?
It doesn't move around.
That's not what we're telling you at all.
It doesn't move around.
Okay,
they're looking in the same direction as you when they see it.
The land masses begin to converge the further you go south.
Okay, and both sides of the world can see below the celestial pole.
That is correct. Based on their line of latitude.
You know how when you look straight up, you can might find a star directly overhead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're those stars that are below the pole, so to speak. They are directly above a point on the globe that is, yes, on the other side of the South Pole from you. That is correct.
Okay.
And here's another thing. Remember, that southern celestial pole will be viewed at about the horizon when you're up at the equator, 0 degrees latitude, 0 degrees above your horizon. As you move southward, the southern celestial pole will rise will rise above the horizon in correspondence with how many degrees of latitude you move south. Very, very closely. There's a very close, correspondence there. That's why when you get to 33 degrees south, if that's where you're at, that's why your southern celestial pole is about 33 degrees above the horizon. This is spherical geometry. This is simple trig. This is observable. This is the globe. Have a good night, Marcus.
I get the point, though. I think he was trying to make. So it almost looks like it'd be the same from South America from Australia, and that doesn't make any sense on a ball.
It makes perfect sense on a ball. It's the only thing it does make sense from. What else would you like to try to deflect from? With no
it literally doesn't make
evidence
sense.
other than I don't understand, so you must be wrong.
Put your finger anywhere in South America on a globe. Now put your finger on Australia on a globe. And now start looking at from, conceptualize. I don't know if that's too deep for you. Start conceptualizing and see if they would see the same part of a celestial hemisphere.
If the latitudes are corresponding, then yes, they would see the same thing. They would just see the stars in a different orientation relative to their rotation about that central point.
But they're so far distances on the ball, they shouldn't be seeing the same thing. But
they do, because it's a sphere. And because you're too simple to understand it does not mean it's not true.
So it's just because you say so then?
No, it's demonstrable.
But couldn't it be demonstrable that these things are projections that depend upon the observer?
No.
Explain how they're projections.
Yeah, demonstrate that.
The Nikon P900 footage. They certainly don't look like physical objects.
You're looking at stars out of focus and still trying to present that as evidence of something other than evidence of your ignorance.
Well, I would assume like a physical object would have the qualities of a physical object.
Stop assuming.
Like electricity.
Stop assuming. You don't know enough to assume anything correctly.
I don't see any spherical objects in the heavens. I see some circles, circular objects. I don't see spheres.
The moon.
They do look
the
like
planet.
they do look like projected blobs when you look at it with the unaided eye, without all those NASA CGI artist flourishes and additions and stuff. When you look at the stars with the unaided naked eye, they just look like blobs. kind of, hazy looking blobs, kind of like, possibly a projection, but I don't know.
So wait, he just said the moon is clearly a sphere, but clearly we only see one facet of a circle. I don't see any angular change or any change in the moon. So you're now claiming a circular object's a sphere. How can we trust anything you say?
Then you haven't observed it for long enough, because if you observe it long enough, libration of the moon allows you to see slightly different parts of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the proof it's a sphere. Okay, all right.
If you look at something long enough, it'll turn into a globe.
The obliquity of the craters on the moon as you go towards the edge indicate that it's a sphere.
I was taught the moon doesn't change any angular, any kind of anything. It's in synchronous lock with the Earth, and we don't see any other facet of a circle. We see a circular facet. That's it. We don't see any spherical nature to this object.
That's what
then
I
you're
was
not
taught,
looking.
too.
The obliquity of craters as we go towards the edge of the moon is an indication that it is a sphere.
No.
Not a circle.
It rather looks hollow.
No, this is not about hollow.
How does it look?
This
hollow?
is about disc versus sphere. And
in the
what he's
daytime, you
referring
could
to
see the
is
blue sky right through
absolutely
it.
evidence
No, you
of
can't.
sphere.
Yeah, you can see through the moon, and you can see stars through the moon as well.
No, you can't.
But
Downright
robots,
lie. Downright lie.
That's
Downright
nonsense.
lie. This is
I have to find a way to
I mean,
upload
hollow
videos.
like a
Let's
bubble.
just see if there's
Hollow
any
like
evidence
a
for this.
projected
Has anybody got any pictures
hollow.
of... Hold on. Has anybody got any pictures of anything being shot through the moon at all?
If the moon's transparent, then why do we see it?
If the moon
It's
is
light.
transparent, why do astronomical sites list occultations upcoming by the moon of various stars and planets? That means it's blocking
an easy way to
if you
prove
don't know
this
what occultation means.
is with a a trackable, locatable star or any other celestial body being shot through the moon. Has anybody got that or not? Long silence.
Aha. How would light pass through the moon?
That's it.
I mean, I'm going to assume that's a no. That nobody's got any pictures of
course it's a no.
stars shot through the moon.
Here, look.
I just want to make sure.
Google search
make
see-through
sure that-
moon.
Listen,
Nathan, I can't screen share. If you Google search see-through moon, the first 10 images that come up, I mean, there's ample evidence. Ample, and it's very readily available.
It's probably photoshopped.
That's not what I'm asking for. I'm definitely not asking for a Google search, which I'm perfectly capable of. I'm asking if you've got a picture of something being not what's the opposite of occulted.
But I can tell the audience how they can get the pictures themselves. So I just did that.
Yeah, but what I'm asking for, Truth Seeker, is images that you have taken.
No, I don't have any on me.
Right. Sure. Me neither.
But I observe it
anyone
daily. If you look at the moon when it's clearly visible in the daylight on a nice clear blue day, you could see the blue fade into the background of the moon. You know, depending on what phase it's in, you just see the whole blueness like fade into it.
That's not the background.
Do you look at it through a telescope? Have you studied it in detail?
I've
No,
seen
and
it.
I never claimed to have.
Right, but you're
May
just
I
claiming
speak for a
nonsense
second?
then, because, I mean, that is just total nonsense. If you've looked at the moon in any detail, you'd know that. But to just claim that it's transparent, it's just nonsense.
I have here an article from September 18th, 2017 in Science Alert. On September 18th, the moon will pass in front of 3 planets and one of the brightest stars in our night sky, all in less than 24 hours, making a special lunar occultation. An occultation might sound like some creepy ritual, blah, 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 blah. The moon will be passing in front of Venus, then the first magnitude star Regulus, then Mars, and finally Mercury. You can search, you can find occultation of Jupiter by the moon. The moon is not see-through. Can we please stop with this silly nonsense?
And even if you did have that, I mean, I would possibly say, well, maybe that...
Okay, I'm presenting an article in the chat since I can't screen share. I definitely have some evidence that the moon has had see-through objects clearly done, and people have documented this.
All right, now, Arwin just posted a message in chat. Useless article, no footage. This was printed ahead of time. The entire world was able to view this. How many of you flat earthers went out there and took pictures of Regulus, of Mars, of Venus, of Mercury through the freaking moon when you knew it was supposed to be hidden by the transparent moon?
Big shout out to the beer guy. Thanks for donating to the super chat. Much obliged.
We're talking about whether the moon is freaking transparent, Arwen. It has everything to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
and we didn't even bring that up. That was
So if you want to bait me over the see-through moon, we'll still be baiting you for the curved water.
Nobody's baiting you. You brought it up like an idiot all on your own. No one is baiting you. If you're going to say something stupid, be prepared to stand behind it.
Yeah, and there's observations that suggest at times the moon is completely see-through. There's observations that suggest that.
That's impossible.
No, there are not.
And I'm going to start taking photos every single day, and I'm going to try and find this transparent mythology you guys are talking about.
All right, start with the article that I just posted in the chat. There you go.
Which chat
They
did
see
you
it
post
coming
it in?
a dot on the
Hold
moon
on.
and they assume that
I
they're
don't mind
stars.
doing it if it's posted.
I don't
somewhere.
understand this.
Bear with
Sorry,
me. Sorry,
Nathan,
mate.
you
Ford. Where have you posted it, Truth? Because it's which chat have you posted?
It's probably in the back chat, green chat.
In the
because
hangout.
that's
In
what
the
he has
hangout.
access to. It's in the back chat that none of us read.
Can anyone see this photo at all that I'm looking at, where it looks like two celestial poles are actually quite close to each other, almost in the same photo?
Yeah,
There are
probably
not poles
being
close
presented.
to each other there. That's a very wide angle lens.
That is
But
a
it's
very
on the
wide
same-
angle lens.
I
It's on
can't
the same
find your link.
side.
Truth.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
It's a
looking
panoramic
at one
shot.
it's a panoramic there from a camera, which is looking at one direction, and it looks like it's almost encapsulated two poles.
The other pole is not in view. It is
You can see
not
where it's
in
going to
view.
be, though. You can see where it's like going to be down here. There's one down here,
Marcus,
and there's one up
you don't
here.
even know what
And Nate,
clockwise
I can't
is.
post the link into the chat because YouTube
What's
blocks
up with
web
that?
addresses. So I posted it in the Hangout, the only place that I can. Like, it's blocking me from doing it on your YouTube live chat.
How do you get two celestial poles in the same camera shot? Almost.
They're not in the same camera
You
shot.
use
And
a panoramic shot and you rotate the camera as you take the photo. This is technology that's easily understood. You can do
I
it
think-
every day with a modern day phone.
I think this.
I
is
can
not
take a panoramic shot
like that. It's
of
too
my
detailed.
environment and
how would
present it
you-
as a picture on the wall.
How would you then have the star trails so nice and neat? If you're dragging it across the shot, you wouldn't have those
You
nice
can
star
use a
trails.
wide angle lens to do this.
Well, stuff like that makes people think that it's a projected reflection. Look at that reflection line slanting through the middle of the photo. And people see that and they're like, okay, maybe it's a reflection or something. How else do you explain that? I mean, the stars aren't going in the same way as it would if the Earth were revolving a globe and the Earth were revolving in space. All the stars should be going in the same direction.
the stars do move in the same direction. The sphere is moving in one direction. Anything different is due to your relative orientation.
No, something not right here. Those
No,
star trails
you're
to
not
me.
right here. You're not right.
You're telling me I'm looking almost north and south. This is like a 180-degree panoramic shot. That doesn't look like 180 degrees to me.
Oh, it doesn't look like it to me, so it must be false.
Well, there's a few photos like this. I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't want to get into this cocky fight of like, oh, it's this and the curved water. And that.
But Marcus, the observer is either north or south of the equator here, and you do not have the pole, the other pole in the shot, and you would not get it. It is too far below
there,
the
though, isn't
horizon. Getting there
getting
is
there,
not
though.
there. You don't know how far away it is. You're guessing. You're looking at this, and you don't know what you're looking at. You're just grasping and saying, oh, look, there's the pole's real close. The pole's real close. The pole is about as far below the horizon that you can't see as the one is above the horizon that you can see.
So if you guys want to check out what I'm presenting right now, but it's a piece of footage of a star being occulted by the dark side of the moon.
I wonder the origins of that term, occulted.
hidden, you moron.
And
did we have to go there? I think that was sarcasm.
That's not coming through the moon. That's right smack on that edge there.
there it is. It's on the edge, and any second now it'll disappear behind it.
Alien, UFO, reptilian. Oh my god, freaking out.
Hang on.
What
happened?
Gone.
Where'd it go?
It went into the transparent moon.
That sounds very logical.
I mean, I'm happy to show that, even though it's not mine, because I have seen that happen myself.
So that was a planet, right? That was
I don't know. I'm not going to say it was a planet or a star. I don't know. I didn't check, but regardless if it was a planet or a star, it was being occulted by the dark side of the moon. That's the bottom line here.
True.
Is truth coming back? Thank you, Flamingo Boot.
Yes, that was a link by Flamingo Boot, who joined just to share that with us. Thank you very much indeed, Flamingo. Much obliged. A few people have had a network error, so if you were hoping to join the show and it's been full, now's your time. We have got about a little under 25 minutes left on this live stream. While we're waiting for a few people to join, I might run through my links. Why the hell not? So let's just get my camera on. So, if you are new to this channel, or you have not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, as the beer guy has already done, please hit that super chat. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth, simply mute the page you are currently watching and then click on the link below this video to join the show and express your views. There are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. If you are ejected, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. And one more time, if you've not shared the show already, be sure to share, as it widens the audience and increases the chances of getting a more diverse panel. One last time, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
So what do we got? What's a point we can argue?
Did you hit the super like yet, Marcus?
I was thinking about it. I really was thinking about supporting Nathan there for a little bit. I was going to throw him $5 or something.
Down that super like.
Maybe I'll throw him 500.
Do that.
No. What am I? What am I? What am I, NASA?
I'd like to hear a flat earth.
Marcus,
I'd like to hear a flat earther explain. I'd like to hear a flat earther explain why the tops of mountains are in view in full sunlight at sunrise and sunset, but the rest of the mountain isn't. Can a flat earther explain that to me, please?
Repeat it. Repeat the claim, since you guys like to snipe out any other objective opinions on it.
Well, I go and visit the mountains, and when I watch sunset and sunrise, the very top of the mountain is the last thing that's in sunlight. Why should the top of the mountain be in sunlight and the rest of the mountain be in darkness if the Earth's flat? What's blocking the light from hitting the rest of the mountain?
Perspective. The same thing that why your eyes can't see.
Oh my God.
Perspective stops the light in the mountain.
That's the answer to everything.
Sorry.
If your eyes are subject to perspective, why too aren't the mountains? Explain that.
How do rockets work in a vacuum? Explain that.
Oh, look at the deflection.
I'm being serious
look
here.
At the deflection.
If we know our eyes experience the same phenomena, why too shouldn't an object, right in a different location?
I explain how perspective causes that with the mountain.
Okay, so we know perspective. We know perspective causes light to converge or diverge. So clearly, the same thing that your eyes are experiencing, so too are the mountains.
I'm sorry, perspective doesn't cause lines to diverge. Lines appear to diverge from perspective. Perspective doesn't cause anything.
But how do you know that the light isn't experiencing the same phenomenon that our eyes witness?
How are you relating it?
Because we see the same thing with the eyes. You know, the sun pokes up and you see it. You can watch the sun angles change and everything. There's no difference between your eyes and the mountain. They're just different points.
God.
They're different physical points.
It's about elevation and distance, man.
Can you answer why they wouldn't? Why would we expect two different results?
Because what you're talking about is nonsense.
Flat earther.
You keep dodging. You just want to put all the pressure on me, but when I throw it back to you, it's
nobody's
like,
your answer. Perspective is pure dirt for this. Now, if the sun is,
but why is it pure derp? Instead of just claiming it's derp, you need to now the burden of proof is on you. Why is it derp? Why is it derp?
If you would shut up and not talk when I'm answering you, you would hear the answer. Now, if the sun is up in the sky, coming near you, how is the light hitting the top of the mountain but not the bottom of the mountain? And how can it actually illuminate? How can it actually illuminate the top of a mountain that is farther away from the sun than you are? AKA a mountain off to your west. When the sun rises, the sunlight is traveling farther than you, hitting the top of that mountain. How is that light not hitting you when you are closer to the sun?
That wasn't concise at all. If you can boil it down to a concise question without like six.
You can answer the question.
No. If you can concisely address your question, I will gladly
answer.
The
question's too difficult for me. He explained too much. I don't want to answer
anybody
it.
on here could regurgitate what you just kind of mumbled through. Now, if you can concisely ask the question, I will gladly answer.
I can repeat what he just said.
Well, it's a dumb question, really. It is a dumb question.
There are no dumb questions. There are dumb people who can't answer questions.
You couldn't even ask it concisely, Herb. Come on, ask
what
it
is concisely.
You'll get a concise answer.
What do you want? 2 syllables, or do I get 3?
We're not exactly just doing like the 3 times table here.
Communicate and understand.
I'll ask the question in a simple way. I'm standing at the bottom of the mountain, and the sun should be the same distance from me as it is from the top of the mountain. So why isn't the sun shining on me, and why is it shining on the top of the mountain?
But you just said you're at the bottom of the mountain, so no, it wouldn't be the same distance.
Yes, I'm at the bottom of the mountain. The bottom of the mountain is no further from the sun than the top of the mountain.
Yes, it is.
Why is the sun shining?
If it's a
top,
physical object, clearly the bottom is farther away than the top of it.
He's trying to get it. It's going around the horizon in the curve and like
at the bottom of a mountain isn't the same as somebody being at the top. I mean, quit being. What are you talking about?
Nope. There's a horizon.
The sun, even if I gave you that the sun was only 3,000 miles away, the distance from the bottom of the mountain to the sun and the distance of the top of the mountain to the sun is negligible. It's no different. The top of the mountain is no further from the sun than the bottom of the mountain. They're the same distance from the sun. So why is the bottom of the mountain in darkness and the top of the sun in sunlight?
The top of the sun in sunlight. I really don't understand these questions.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. Do you want me to answer this? Do you want me to answer this? The top of the mountain is more visible around the curve of the Earth. Like, and the curve in front of, or the horizon in front of me is blocking me out. Like, obviously, it's a low sun. It's about to set or something.
That's right.
What?
That you correct.
We got there, kids. Now, moving along.
The curvature of the Earth is blocking the sun from hitting the bottom of the mountain.
Hang on. Bill, what do you assume that flat earthers think the sun is?
Yeah, it's almost ended.
Beg your pardon?
Sorry, what do flat earthers think the sun is? Is that what the question was?
What do you take it that flat earthers take the sun to be? You think that they all
honestly,
say a quick hello.
Some of us are actually like mostly on a globe side. We're just trying to like debunk our own brains.
I'm going to get kicked, I reckon.
Just make a proper introduction for you, Pete. Pleased to have you here, Pete Shea.
Yeah, thanks.
Pete, what's up?
Okay. How you doing, Mark?
What do we think it is? Of course, it would be some sort of element or chemical like that we already know of that we can touch with our fingers and hands. Surely, I mean, you would hope that, right? You would want to assume that it was just in the periodic table, and you would have some idea that that would be something that burns and is a fuel and an energy.
Well,
Like, but
what does
and there's other, there's other ideas out there.
What does spectroscopy say about that?
Sorry, that's a good point. I don't know. What does it say? Like, it probably says it's full of hydrogen, doesn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So here's a question for the panel. How come when I set a camera on a table and I keep a light source above it and I keep moving that light source farther away from the camera lens, it appears that the light source goes into the table, but it never goes into the table?
All right, show it. Show it. You keep bringing this up. Everybody knows you're full of it. Show it.
Just regarding
it's called perspective. It's called perspective.
No,
and it's repeatable, and anybody can do it.
Show it. Back your claim. Back your claim, or nobody's going to believe you.
Sniper, can you call perspective without calling a change in angular size?
You assume this. You again assume the sun is a solid object when it's not. It's not at all a solid object.
Sorry, Jermaine. Your question was like, can your perspective change, but the angular sizes can't? Is that?
In other words, can you say it's perspective that's causing the sun to appear to go below the horizon? However, claiming perspective, we know that angular size is a necessary part of perspective. Is that correct?
With solid bodies. If a solid body moves further away from you, it will tend to decrease in size and angular size.
Uniformly.
You haven't defined accurately what the sun is, right?
Uniformly.
Uniformly. That's right, with distance.
Not half of the bottom of the sun cut off.
Is Curve, can I ask you a question? Is someone, I'm at a particular location, right? Is someone a mile, let's say, to the west of me at sundown? Will they experience darkness before I will? A mile. So you can talk about 10 miles, 100 miles. Will the person a mile, to the east of me, not to the west, to the east of me, experience darkness before I will?
Relatively speaking, it's going to be very minor, a mile away. That's a pretty gradual thing.
Right, but it's still a distinction, isn't it? And you could even break it down to meters if you wish. It's just a gradual sort of darkness creeping up on us, isn't it? Isn't that how it works? So if you had something that was, that's how darkness works in general, isn't it?
No, it fades.
Well, we go from a time of daytime to twilight to nighttime, so we make a distinction.
Those are gradual. Those are gradual.
Right. So there is a distinction between somebody to my east and me a mile to my west. We will all experience that transition at slightly different times, but it's still a distinction, right? So if you have a peak, sticking up between the three of us, something at the top of that peak, based on a light traveling and based on reality as we can experience it, would expect to experience daylight that bit longer, right? It doesn't.
What?
Yeah.
Pete, I think you twisted that.
So we have approximately 10 minutes left on this broadcast. So first of all, a massive thank you to everybody who has shared these live streams. It is what makes the show what it is. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon if you've not done so already. Hit that super chat if you want to share, if you want to support the channel rather. And most importantly, if you want to join the show, click on the link in the info box below this video. Please don't swear and please don't try to rejoin if I boot you for swearing. With that, I'll pass you back to the action. As I say, there is about 10 minutes left. I will come back one more time to thank the audience.
Illuminated by the sun, even though I have been in indirect sunlight for a while. There's still direct illumination of higher objects up there in the sky. That has to do with the angle. It's not the limited throw of the sun like that retard YouTube says. It's nothing like that.
I agree. It has to do with the angle, right? Yeah.
It is the angle. Yeah, and it's the curvature of the earth that causes me to be in indirect light and those clouds up there, but farther away than me, off to my east, that are directly illuminated by the sun. Airplanes flying in the sky off to my east, shining up brightly, getting hit by the sun directly. Yes. This is curvature of the earth. This is not no. This is no pipe dream.
We agree with the phenomena, right? But just pause if it's in dispute. I say that as you rise up, back daylight.
You can if you get above the curvature. Yeah.
No. See, you're in curvature again. As you rise up, you don't see any curvature, right? But as
Curvature
you
is the only thing that's causing it, Pete.
Okay, so you agree that the reason why it gets dark for you, the individual, is the angle the sun makes between you and it. So when it goes beyond a certain angle, you experience darkness at or at twilight, whatever. You know, as a person, that's the point. As you rise up, as you go to the top of that mountain, the angle between you and the sun, which hasn't gone behind the curve, just gone further in distance, has altered. So now you experience daylight again. And here's what, no matter how dark it is, right? No matter how dark it is, as higher and higher point, you will always bring daylight back to you personally. In other words, you will be in that angle of the sun again, which you describe as daylight, right? So it's nothing to do with curvature. You can't bring curvature into it. It's nothing to do with curvature.
We have about 5 minutes left, just so you guys know. Like, we have about a little over 5 minutes left.
All right, thanks.
I've got an interesting picture to share.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Can you see this picture?
We can.
Have I shared it?
You have?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You can clearly see that the sunlight is shining on the mountains in the background, on the peaks, but the mountain in the foreground is in complete darkness. Shining on those mountain peaks in the background there, the sunlight has to be coming from behind the observer. So why isn't the sun shining on the mountain in the foreground? The mountain peaks in the background are clearly at a higher elevation. But if the sun was above a flat earth, clearly the mountain in front should also be receiving sunlight.
That might not be the front. To me, those shadows look like they're heading left, so the sun would be to the right of this picture.
But nevertheless, the mountain in the foreground has no sunlight on it.
Maybe there's a big-ass mountain to the right blocking it all out.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that's inconclusive. It could be in shadow.
Now, why would that mountain be blocking it out?
Look where it's dark.
Sorry, Paul, you're onto a completely new point now, and I've got to agree. I've got to agree, because if you look at the tip,
it's darker
of the
in the foreground than it is in the
peak,
background.
You can see the way the sun is heading by the shadow. So, you know, you've made it seem like the sun is from our vantage point, which it simply isn't. Rubbish point.
Sun is behind us.
Waste of time. Thank you for that.
Darkness.
You have a shadow there. Look at the shadow of the mountain, man. You've got a shadow there. Look, that dark spot is a shadow of the mountain.
This is what I don't understand. We have to plan our debates a little bit better, and they're good. They're fantastic. But like, when we go back to stuff like shadows and light points, it's like it goes. I mean, yeah,
it's not,
fair enough.
I fail to understand the difficulty in understanding that as you rise up on a flat plane with a sun that travels around, as you rise up on a mountaintop or whatever, you will bring back daylight because of the relative angle that the sunlight makes to you.
But Pete, the sun is illuminating the ground that's closer to the sun than you. Why is it hopping over you and lighting the mountaintop that's farther away than you?
Have you got an example of that curved?
That's why you experience.
Have you got an example
That's
of
why
that
you
curved?
experience.
Sorry,
It's better than this.
Curved. Have you got an
You
example
know
of that?
this.
Have you got an example of that? Because one hasn't been shown so far.
You know that, Pete.
Sorry,
But
Curved. Have
hang
you got
on.
an example
Anybody
of that?
can stand outside at
Sorry,
sunset
Curved.
and
I've got to
look
stop you.
in the
You're
east.
carrying on the conversation like we've just been given an example of that, and we haven't.
I've explained countless times.
I'm
about the clouds
not
off
interested
the
in the
east.
explanation. We've just had a fallacious. You're carrying on as though that photo that was just presented was anything to do with this argument. So if you want to
Nathan,
continue
I
this
experience
argument,
this all the time. Everybody can.
Please present a photograph that depicts that, because so
You
far
would-
we've had
you
one that
just-
doesn't, and you're carrying on the
reject
argument
all-
as though we've had a
you
photo that does
reject all
present that.
photographs.
No, we'll produce one, Curved. Relax.
Produce one if you want to carry on this argument, because so far we've had a crock of crap that doesn't show that. And if you want to carry on this argument, you need to produce a photo, not just carry on like we haven't just had a crock of crap presented to us, because we have.
And And can I add another point as well, that when the sun does go over towards that horizon, it's quite strange that it is 93 million miles away, but the heat that just goes away. Like as soon as it starts heading over towards that horizon, I can still see it. Like it's in my line of vision, that 93 million miles, like that heat coming down on me really fast, really far away, really strong. And then as soon as it gets over, like away from my city, like my whole city just dies, starts getting freezing cold, even though it's still line of sight.
You're presenting evidence of the curvature of the atmosphere.
Heat and light are not intrinsic qualities of the sun, which is a frequency.
Yeah, they actually are.
What we experience as heat and light are effects.
I'm going to have to turn you down, Pete. I'm really sorry, just to get Brenda's intro in. We've been joined by Brenda. So very pleased to have you here, Brenda. How are you doing?
The sun is like what? Something like 3 million degrees?
Sure, Brenda.
Yeah, it is. Something like that.
Sure, Brenda. You measure that with your rectal thermometer.
Yes, you can measure. Yes, you can measure temperature without having to actually touch an object. Yes,
can you?
can.
3 million. Yes. How would you measure that? So, Brenda.
You do that by measuring the color of the light.
What?
That's actually true. So like that sun's had the whole day to heat up my atmosphere, heat up my side of town. It's had a midday. Things should be cranking right now.
Where it's shining through the thinnest of the atmosphere.
Right, and then but no. You said it was heating up the atmosphere. It's got nothing to do with the density of the atmosphere.
Whoa! I did not say that.
It's a bit of both, but it's had a whole midday to heat it up, and it's cruising across down to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and it just starts getting cold.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's still line of sight.
Light and heat are
at a more oblique angle, going through more and more atmosphere.
But it's had the whole day. It's had the whole 50% of the globe side mid. Come on,
Marcus. Now. You don't understand clockwise. I'm not going to attempt to explain this to you.
I don't understand clockwise. Oh dear.
Yeah. You didn't understand clockwise.
Rockets in space.
The Earth and Sun. All there is the Sun
in vacuum.
How does and it's reflected artifact. But the Earth and the barrier and the Sun as it travels around is like a 3D clock, a three-dimensional clock. If you can get your head around that, that's what I'm seeing more and more. And what curved and he's like calling curvature is actually a curvature of a sense, but it's a curvature of a barrier that these lights are moving around. Simple as that. Simple as that.
You got a picture of that, Pete? You're going to call that a crock of crap, Nathan?
Well, in one sense, this isn't about, look, we have reams of proof. Einstein proved that the universe was the way it was, but only 3 people understood it in the Earth, right? I think we all have the ability to understand, activate our imaginations and understand our home, right? And it's pretty simple as well, I think. The moon and the sun are exactly the same size for very good reasons. Let me just say about that video, Nathan, with the sun or with the star vanishing when it got into the shadow of the moon. The reason why the moon is in shadow in the first place is certain and fixed. Now we've got to figure out why.
Hey, Pete,
that aspect of the moon is in shadow.
Pete.
And then if the star is, hang on, last thing, if the star is a light along the same lines as the rest of the luminaries, well, then it is also disappearing in that shadow. I say that shadow is caused by a reflection against a contoured barrier, right? And I've talked about that elsewhere.
Did you know?
And with that, I'm going to say a massive, huge, enormous thank you to, first and foremost, the viewing audience for tuning into this live debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the panel members for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.